My hot take is that Black Americans are who they think they are. They are the moment, they are the culture, and I think they have the most impact in this country, and as Africans, we owe them more respect.
Do Africans hate African Americans? The short response to this is don't just take my word for it. Go to Africa and find out for yourself. But honestly, this rhetoric that continues to be pushed is not only downright disgusting, but it's continuing to push a divide amongst us. There are ignorant people in the African community. There are ignorant people in the African American community. Just like when I came here, I used to be made fun of for being African. I don't hold that against them because in the most respectful manner, they did not know any better. They were children and they were just going up for whatever was fed to them. If you go to Africa, you literally get treated like royalty. I'm telling you, royalty, bro. Last year, I went to my village with my boy Monhan. And when I tell you, up to this day, I spoke to my grandma the day before yesterday and she was like, oh, how's my husband? Like, how's my husband? Like, referring to my friend Monhan. That's like it's like a cultural thing where like your grandma would be like, oh, my grandson is handsome, like, you know, that type of vibe. Like as an African American, when you go to Africa, you literally get praise, bro. I spent all my early life wanting to become like African American, bro. I loved watching Nino Brown. I wanted to be just like Nino Brown. I used to be walking around in Africa with a Band-Aid under my eye because I wanted to be like Nelly. I only saw posters, just off of posters alone, found him to be so cool. Within my friends group, there was a point where nobody went by their African name. Everybody wanted to be named something else. I was Nelly. Somebody else was 50 Cent. Somebody was Snoop Dogg. Like that's literally how it was. But the media is not gonna tell you that though. The media is not gonna tell you how many fights I got into because somebody wanted to be called Nelly. I'm like, nah, Nelly is me. You're gonna have to go find somebody else. And I'm dead ass. If I'm lying, God strike me. This is facts. I remember having a poster of 50 Cent on my wall because I wanted to be like him so bad. You know those tank tops with the bullet going through with the G unit? I wanted to be like, I literally started working out because I wanted to look like 50 Cent. I kid you not. I swear to everything. Does that sound like hatred to you guys? We spent our whole life trying to emulate and trying to be like y'all. There's no room for hatred in my culture. And
when it comes to African American culture, I love it. And I'm not going to give you like the highlights of the music, the culture, the swag, right? Those things is permanent, right? Is always going to be there. But what I find very interesting about African Americans is the fact that when it comes to raising awareness and being on the front line for oppression, they are number one every single time. My best friends, right? They are African Americans. As an African male, I never look at African Americans lesser than. I still look at them as equals, as my brothers and sisters or my cousin. I grew up here. I've been called all these names and all these things, right? But at the end of the day, I never took it personal to where I had a disdain for African Americans. You guys are amazing people. If it wasn't for you guys and the civil rights movement, right, a lot of races of people would not be in the U.S. today. You did that, African Americans. And as an African, man, I love you guys. I love the culture. I indulge in the culture, from the swag to how I carry myself and everything else, right? It's a blender of African and African American culture, which I love.
Just don't care. After I Show Speed's Africa tour, you really can't convince me that Africans hate Black Americans. You just can't, because the reaction has been nothing but love and not hostility. Everywhere he's gone so far, people have shown him nothing but excitement towards him. If Africans hated Black Americans, you wouldn't see crowds welcoming him, celebrating him, and treating him like family. And most of the online narratives that some FBA folks be pushing don't match real life. It just doesn't, because most of the Africans hate Black Americans talk lives on social media. It lives online. Real life interactions show respect and connection. The internet exaggerates beef that regular people don't actually live by. And online beef looks serious, but regular people don't move like that in real life. And we're seeing it in real time because people in Africa relate to him as a young Black person and not as some American outsider. And that's what Pan-Africanism looks like in practice. And lastly, you got to think about it, because TikTok is a white bourgeoisie app, and so are Instagram and Facebook. So of course, these platforms are going to push content that makes it seem like Africans hate Black Americans and that Black Americans hate Africans. The elite doesn't want to see us united. So that's why we're going to have to take a step forward to actually put Pan-Africanism in practice.
My Black American, African American family, I'm sorry I apologize for the sins of the ancestors, the fathers and the mothers of Africa, for what was done to you. I'm begging the African government to please give our brothers and sisters free lands when they come. Give them money. Let them take part in the continent, in ruling the continent of Africa. Please forgive us. Please. And for those Africans that have come here, you paved the way for us. I'm going to say it boldly. You paved the way for us, because you guys, your fathers, your mothers, your forefathers, your ancestors, they fought for freedom. I acknowledge it. Without the way you guys fought, we might not be here. And some of our own forefathers, our own ancestors learned from your fathers and mothers. They learned, they reproduced this movement in Africa to be able to free us. So thank you. I'm sorry for the disrespect. I will make every effort to spread awareness. I'm sorry for any names you've been called. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Since I don't know the ancestors, I can talk to the children. You are the children of your ancestors. Thank you so much. Please, let's forgive each other and work together.
Sit with what you just watched for a second. That wasn't one person. That was 5 different Africans from 5 different countries with no script and no coordination. And every single one of them said some version of the same thing. Respect, admiration, guilt over the ways we've been kept apart. A grown woman, unprompted, apologizing on camera for something her ancestors did centuries before she was born, and asking her own government to open land and opportunities to Black Americans who want to come home. That is not what hatred looks like. That is not what indifference looks like. That's family owning up to something and trying to make it right. So if that's the truth on the ground, why does the loudest version of this story online sounds like the exact opposite? Why does it feel like every other week there's a new clip telling you Africans look down on you, or that Black Americans think Africans are beneath them? Because division performs better than unity, and these platforms are not built to show you the truth. They are built to keep you watching. A video of an African man naming himself after Nelly and getting into fistfights defending it does not travel the way a video of one angry, bad-faith stranger does. Outrage is the product. Conflicts is what keeps you scrolling, commenting, and coming back. Peace doesn't trend, so peace doesn't get pushed to your feed, even when peace is the majority experience. And this isn't new. This is an old strategy wearing a new outfit. During slavery, enslavers spread the idea that Africans and enslaved Black Americans were fundamentally different people, different tribes, different loyalties, nothing in common, specifically so they could never organize together against the people actually holding power over both of them. Colonial powers did the same thing across the continent, drawing borders and stoking ethnic division to keep Africans fighting each other instead of the empires ruling them. The tool has always been the same. Keep Black people arguing with each other so the energy never turns toward the people who actually benefit from the division. What you see online today, dressed up as TikTok drama, is just the new version of a very old playbook, and it's working exactly as intended if you walk away from a 5-second clip believing an entire continent hates you. But before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. You'll find all their handles in my description box. But for now, let's watch a few more clips and then I'll be back with more commentary.
As an African woman living in the United States, I have never experienced prejudice from Black Americans or African Americans, however you call yourself. Never. I came to this country and I was embraced and welcomed by them. They love me. I love them back. Like, I found my people, for real. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I found my people.
What do Zambians think about Black Americans?
You know, one funny thing, Zambians, I think we look at Black Americans like they are like us. They are like our brothers and sisters. We don't look at them to be strange. If anything, the white man will look them to be strange. Even Indians, you know that Indians are closer to us more than the Muzungu, more than the whites. But the blacks, everyone except they will just tell by the accent. You know, we have different cultures, but there's a motto which they say in Zambia that we are one Zambia, one nation. So anyone who looks black to us is our brother.
That's true. We are brothers.
Yes.
Sisters,
and we know we are just separated by circumstances centuries ago, but we don't find anything wrong.
Do Africans want to be like African Americans? The answer is yes. I was going through my Google Photos recently and come and see the things I found. This is specimen 1. This is the first example I found. I had to ask myself, why were we dressed like this? The only reason I could think of was because for the past how many years we had been watching 106 and Park. This is the influence. Is that not T.I. on the right? Is that not T.I.? My boy, his name is Toby. That's why are we dressed like fake chains? But we did not give a fuck. We wanted to be like you guys. Many of us in this picture had never even stepped out of Nigeria before. But why are we dressed like this? So if any African ever comes to you telling you nonsense, just tell them to shut up, because this is the truth. We wanted to be like you guys.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys about what Africans actually think about Americans. Let me just say black Americans. What we actually think, or how we think about black people in America. I want to let you guys know for the first time. There's a message going around saying that Africans hate black Americans. I want to tell you guys from myself growing up in West Africa, Ghana, how we used to honor black people, black celebrities. Even till today, if you go to every African home, especially young guys, you see big calendars of black celebrities in America, Jay-Z, whatever. They are there. We honor them like we wanted to be like them. We listen to their music growing up. The way they dress, whatever they do, that's what we were doing growing up. So when I came to America, and I'm here, Africa, so I like America. Maybe Africans in America don't like when we come here. Maybe something changed. But the truth about how we see blacks in America from an African standpoint, let me say West Africa, because if you want blacks, mostly in West Africa, how we honor them. I don't even think the real black Americans honor their celebrities like we do in Africa. The way they dress. I remember growing up, 50 Cent, when 50 Cent came, the actual picture on his album, the back cover of his album, that the one he removed his shirt and they draw whatever. You go to a young guy's room, almost every young guy, you go to his room, you see a very giant picture of that particular calendar, as big as a door, hanging out in his room. When you enter, that's what you're going to see first. As I remember, P. Diddy, okay, we call him Puff Daddy. We were calling him Puff Daddy. You see Puff Daddy with his nice shoes, the way they wear their hat, turn it like this. We will go and buy hat because of that. We just want to dress like that. I remember Nelly with those things here. We just wanted everything they do, we do the same. The way they dress, they're wearing bigger t-shirt, oversized t-shirt. We also go and buy oversized t-shirt to wear just to look like them. They wear their hat, turn it like this. We also go and do the same thing. Everything, their music, there was no song. People like Jay-Z, Nelly, this guy, Jaru, this guy, Sean Paul, all those kind. Let me talk about my age limit. That's where I don't know further music. I'm not even used to Michael Jackson music like that. But those hip-hop stars in America, we honor them. Like, we were holding them like this, like role model. We wanted to be like them. We have guys naming themselves. Oh, my name is Cisco. Oh, my name is Jay-Z. I am this. I'm 50 Cent. And even in our schools, secondary school, we attended boarding schools. So every Saturday is called entertainment night. We have entertainment night in every Saturday. Every Saturday, if they are playing 100 songs, 80 something are going to be American hip-hop music. So we knew them word to word. So when you come to America and they say Africans don't like America, I used to like black America. I'm like, at first it got me, I was so weird. It was so weird to even think about it. I'm like, where are they getting this from?
Real unity can't just live in a comment section. It's not enough to watch this, feel something, and scroll to the next video. That's exactly the behavior the algorithm is counting on. Real solidarity looks like actually supporting black-owned businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. It looks like black Americans and Africans building a real economic and political power together instead of arguing with each other for the entertainment of an app that profits every time we do. It looks like refusing to let one out-of-context clip decide how you see an entire continent or an entire community. And I want to be honest with you, because you might be thinking, but I've seen Africans online talking down on black Americans, and I've seen black Americans online talking down on Africans. You have. That's real. I'm not telling you those clips don't exist. What I'm telling you is that a handful of loud, bad faith voices getting amplified by an algorithm is not the same thing as a consensus. Every community has people who say ignorant things, but ignorance getting the loudest microphone doesn't mean it represents the room. The overwhelming pattern, when you actually go looking, when you actually talk to people face to face instead of scrolling a comment section, is respect, is admiration, is family. That's what shows up over and over again when the cameras are rolling on real people in real moments, not manufactured beef built for engagement. And there's a generational cost to all of this that rarely gets talked about. Kids growing up right now on both sides of the Atlantic are absorbing this manufactured beef as if it's fact, because they've never had a real conversation with someone from the other side. A black American teenager who's only ever seen Africans clown black Americans content grows up with the world that his grandparents never had. An African teenager who's only ever seen the reverse grows up the same way. That world didn't exist a generation ago in most of our households, and it sure didn't exist for the people in the clips we just watched. Every year we let this narrative run unchallenged is another year it hardens into something the next generation has to unlearn instead of never having to learn in the first place. Go back far enough and you'll find the same tactic being used against us over and over. Colonial powers carved up the African continent and deliberately stoked ethnic and tribal division because a united Africa was a threat to their control and a divided one was easy to rule. That same logic followed us here. Enslaved Africans were separated by language and region specifically to prevent organizing, and in the modern era, that strategy simply changed platforms. It used to be a colonial administrator's policy memo. Now, it's an algorithm optimizing for watch time. Different tool, same outcome. Keep us looking at each other as the problem instead of looking at the systems that actually profit from our division. But here's what they don't want you to remember. We've beaten this playbook before. Marcus Garvey built a movement in the early 1900s that connected black people across the diaspora under one banner. Long before hashtags existed, W.E.B. Du Bois helped organize Pan-African congresses that brought African and diaspora leaders to the same table to fight colonialism together. Kwame Nkrumah, after leading Ghana to independence, spent the rest of his life pushing for African unity because he understood that a fractured Africa and a fractured diaspora were both easier to exploit. None of these men had it easy, and none of them agreed on everything, but they understood something we can't afford to forget. The people who benefit from our division are not in either one of our communities. They are the ones selling ad space against our arguments. So what does actually doing something about this look like practically? It looks like black Americans traveling to the continent, not just for a vacation, but to build relationships, invest in businesses, and understand history firsthand, the same way the woman in this apology invited you to do. It looks like Africans in the diaspora correcting the record in their own communities when they hear the black Americans don't respect us narrative repeated as fact. It looks like both sides refusing to let a 5-second TikTok standing for an entire people. It looks like supporting artists, entrepreneurs, and creators from the continent the same way the culture already borrows their sound, their fashion, and their energy. It looks like teaching the next generation on both sides that the line between African and African American is thinner and newer than the systems that drew it. They want you divided because divided, you are easier to distract, easier to exploit, and easier to keep exactly where you are. United, you're the single most influential cultural and economic force on the planet, and everybody profiting off the division already knows it. That's not an exaggeration. Look at how much of global music, fashion, language, and culture traces back to us on both sides of that ocean. Imagine what happens when the influence stops being fought over online and starts being built together on purpose. So the next time you see the video telling you Africans hate Black Americans or that Black Americans look down on Africans, stop and ask yourself who actually benefits from you believing that. It's not you, it's not them, it never was. Ask who's selling ads against that anger before you let it become your opinion. And that responsibility doesn't just sit with governments or institutions. It sits with us, right here, in what we choose to share, argue about, and give our attention to. Every time a diverse clip gets clicked instead of questioned, it teaches the algorithm to make more of them. Every time a unique file moment like the one you just watched gets shared instead of scrolled past, it teaches the algorithm something different. We are, in very real sense, voting with our attention every single day for which version of this story gets told next. And that's not a small thing. That's the actual mechanism by which this either keeps happening or finally stops. We are not enemies. We were never supposed to be. One family, separated by circumstance, by an ocean, and by a few centuries of people with a vested interest in keeping us apart, but not by choice, and not for one more day if we actually decide otherwise.
Black Americans think that Africans don't like them. What is your take on that?
Oh, I think we all love each other. I've heard that before, but like, no, I think any African I've met, we've always like, I've seen that on the internet. Like, I feel like we all come together, like we all won. We all won.
So what do you all think? If you've ever seen this divide play out in real life, good or bad, tell your story in the comments. Let's hear the real version. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have another video specifically tailored for you. And if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, the Joy Report out.